Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nina, and before I get into the video, I just want to address something really quick, and that's just the fact that Black lives matter, and they will always matter no matter what. And right now, we are going through a massive period of upheaval, which includes the dismantling of an incredibly oppressive system that only benefits a select few. And so right now, more than ever especially, is a time to be advocating for Black people, for supporting Black people and amplifying their voices and amplifying their cause and fighting and pushing for their rights as a human being, as for equal rights in general. And if you are someone who somehow has an issue with that, if you don't believe in that, if you are someone who believes that all lives matter, and you try to dismiss this entire movement, this channel is not for you. This space, I do not hold space for you at all. Right now is the time to be coming together and to support Black people and ensure their safety, their protection, and their place in this world as equal human beings, not as lesser than. So with that being said, I will be leaving links down below for petitions that you can be signing, for funds that you can be donating to support this cause. And yeah, to all those people protesting right now, please stay safe, and thank you for going out and having the courage to fight and to protest, and to protest for the rights of Black people, for the equality of Black people, and for the fighting for the justice for Black people. So yeah, like I said, I'll be linking to links down below for you to further contribute to this cause. So yeah, with that being said, let's just go ahead and get into the video. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with this video. I'm going to be doing general readings for all 12 signs for this lunar eclipse in Sagittarius that is happening tomorrow, June 5th, 2020. I'm really excited to see what is in store for all of us and what's going to come up, and you know, what themes, what common themes we will be experiencing. So with that being said, I will be starting with Aries. This may apply to your sun, moon, rising, and Venus, so keep that in mind. I'll be leaving timestamps down below for all the signs. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get started with you, Aries. Okay, so what's going on for Aries this eclipse season? What truth is being revealed for Aries, sun, moon, rising, and Venus during this lunar eclipse? All right, so a card fell out. Okay, so we have the moon reverse that fell out. You could be dealing with a Pisces, or maybe it's you. Maybe you have Pisces placements. I don't know. We have the 10 of Cups reversed. Interesting. We have the Knight of Swords, and we have the King of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck, which is really fun. It's really interesting. Okay, so King of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck, signifying the overall energy here. So for you, Aries, it could be that lately you may have been feeling comfortable with where you're at, or maybe you've grown a little too comfortable, or maybe this is a theme or an energy that you're trying to reach in your life. Maybe you're working your way up towards this stable, generous, providing King of Pentacles energy. Maybe you're trying to become an entrepreneur. Maybe you were trying to become like a business owner, or maybe you were trying to provide for your community in some way, or for your family in some way. Maybe you're trying to become a provider for yourself or for others somehow. Also, for some of you, it could just be that I just feel like there's a sense of like complacency. I don't know why this card is giving me a sense of complacency, but I feel like some of you may have been kind of like too comfortable with where you're at, too just happy, too satisfied with where you're at. It's not even satisfied, but just too comfortable. Like you've gotten too like settled in. That's kind of what it feels like for some of you, like too settled in, too comfortable, and now is the time for change. And so we have the moon reverse, which talks about repressed emotions, repressed anxieties, repressed feelings in general, repressed fears, whatever it is, just like trying to, you know, whatever it is that you've tried to push down, whatever it is that you've tried to push away or tried to ignore or try to just like turn a blind eye to, that is coming up. And it seems that for some of you, maybe you have reached a point in your life where things are stable materially. Maybe you do have a wonderful relationship with your family, or a decent relationship with your family, or maybe you have a home for yourself, or maybe, you know, you're like living independently, or maybe you have enough money to provide for yourself. Maybe you're stable physically, right? But with the 10 of Cups reverse, this kind of talks about a sense of dissatisfaction. 10 of Cups reverse, like not feeling happy with these circumstances. You're not emotionally fulfilled by this King of Pentacles energy. It's like no matter how much money you make or how much status you gain or how popular you get, that's just not hitting the way that it used to. Or maybe it's just not hitting the way that you thought it would once you gained that thing, whether it was status, money, any other sort of material thing. It's just like it's just not hitting different. And so it seems that with this moon card, you didn't really want to accept that, or you're like, maybe it's just because the timing is weird. Maybe I'll feel grateful for it later, or maybe things will get better later, or things will start looking up later. But I feel like it hasn't gotten any better. And so there's this increasing feeling of emotional dissatisfaction and emotional disharmony and disconnect. And it's almost like you might be putting up an image of being really happy in order to please the people around you, but on the inside it doesn't really seem like you're all that happy. With 10 of Cups reverse kind of feels like inauthenticity, and it feels just fake, like you're putting up an image for people and that image isn't real. You're projecting a fake image. And so if that is the case, this Knight of Swords then is saying that you need to push yourself out of this. You need to take some sort of action. You need to do something to help yourself. You need to take some sort of initiative. And you need to speak your truth, no matter how much it might hurt other people. Of course, you don't have to be like super harsh with the way that you say things. Of course, say things passionately and speak your mind kindly and lovingly, but still be honest, still be blunt, still be straightforward. And I also feel like you have to be straightforward with yourself. And I also feel with this Knight of Swords, this is kind of saying like you have to face the situation head on rather than trying to escape from it, or rather than trying to ignore it. If independence is what you need, or if there's just something that you need to do to get yourself out of this funk, then do it. There has to be some sort of change that needs to take place. And maybe some of you need to reevaluate what this King of Pentacles even means to you. Is this actually what you want? Do you actually want this King of Pentacles lifestyle where, yes, you might be living the lavish life, but you're not really like all that involved, if that kind of makes sense? Like you're not really taking much action, if you will, because Aries, you know, you are ruled by Mars, right? Mars is all about war. And this isn't saying like go to war, but this is kind of saying like you enjoy, I think, being a soldier or taking that initiative. Sometimes being a king isn't really enough, because yeah, like you get to protect your kingdom, you get to protect your people, but sometimes it's a lot more fulfilling to be on the front lines, or to be taking action, to be taking initiative, than it is to be kind of like a ruler, if that kind of makes sense. So if that's the case for you, then this is kind of saying to take the initiative, to put yourself back out there, to kind of gain that adrenaline rush. And again, of course, like in a safe way, to speak your truth and to do something about these circumstances, rather than kind of just like sitting back and allowing this to happen. Especially like if you're not happy, you know, like if you're not happy, you're not happy. You don't have to try to force it to please other people, especially. So yeah, so if that's the case for you, Aries, again, take the initiative, take on that Knight of Swords energy. Do research if you need to. Figure out and reflect where this is coming from, right? So yeah, this seems like this is something that has to be addressed, and it can't continue being ignored or pushed to the side. So yeah, I hope this was helpful for you, Aries. All right, Taurus, let's see what this lunar eclipse has for you. So this may apply to Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. So let's see. All right, what is this lunar eclipse wanting to tell Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus? What is this lunar eclipse revealing? I got a card that fell out. All right, let's see. We have the Nine of Cups reversed. All right, Nine of Cups reversed, Two of Cups reversed, Seven of Swords. In the bottom of the deck, we have the Ten of Swords reversed. Interesting. And under that is the Hierophant reversed. Oh, God. Okay. We got your card. Okay. So Ten of Swords reversed at the bottom of the deck for you, Taurus, for this lunar eclipse. So the Ten of Swords reversed basically talks about reaching a dead end, but not accepting that fact. This usually kind of reads as like someone dragging out something that has long needed to be put to rest. So for example, maybe you might be in a relationship that is just not emotionally fulfilling, that, you know, like, you know, deep in your heart that this is something that you need to let go of, but maybe you've grown a little bit too comfortable in it. Or, you know, maybe you've just tried really hard to continue making it work, even though you know deep in your heart, like, there's nothing else that you can do. You've exhausted all of your options and all of your resources and all of your ideas to get this thing moving. And now it's almost just like dragging this just lifeless thing, essentially. So with the Ten of Swords reversed, it's almost like not wanting to accept the ending of something, just being in denial of that ending, and it's reaching this dead end. Like, some of you may have really reached some sort of dead end, and you might even acknowledge that you're not even happy in this, because I do have the Knight of Cups reversed. Like, you are emotionally dissatisfied within the situation, whether it's a job, whether it's an actual romantic relationship, whether it's a friendship, whether it's a school thing, whether, I don't know, whatever it is, right? There's so many different things that this could be. This is showing me, the Nine of Cups reversed is showing me that you are so emotionally dissatisfied, and you're not even seeing eye to eye with this person or with this situation or whatever, right? Two of Cups reversed, you're not really seeing eye to eye. Things are disharmonious. Though, like, before, things might have felt like they matched really well, like two puzzle pieces, but now it just feels disjointed. It doesn't feel like two matching puzzle pieces anymore. It feels like trying to force things more than anything. And with the Seven of Swords, it's almost like you could either be lying to yourself, or you could be lying to the person involved or to the people involved. This just kind of reads as like dishonesty, or just not wanting to face the whole truth about something, or trying to run away from a truth, trying to escape some sort of reality because it's easier to to be within a certain perspective. But it might feel easier, sure, but it just seems as though it's dragging things out longer than it needs to, and it might be causing a lot more harm than good. And so it seems that with this eclipse for you, Taurus, a lot of what's coming up is needing to let go of that which is outdated, needing to let go of that which just no longer serves you, no longer makes you happy, no longer serves a purpose in your life, if that kind of makes sense. So yeah, Ten of Swords reversed, and then under that was the Hierophant reverse, which is your card. So this is talking about systems and foundations that are just outdated, systems and foundations and conventions that no longer serve a purpose in your life, situations that no longer serve a purpose in your life. Maybe other people expect you to continue with this thing or to continue with this person, but it just doesn't seem harmonious. Like you and this person or you and this thing just don't match anymore, and that is completely okay. It is okay for you to outgrow situations. It is okay for you to outgrow people, for you to outgrow jobs, for you to outgrow schools or majors or homes, whatever it is, right? It's okay for you to outgrow these things, but you hurt yourself more by trying to drag it out, by trying to drag out a relationship or to drag out something that you know deep in your heart is weighing you down. Does that kind of make sense? So the lunar eclipse seems to be really addressing a lot of those themes, a lot of those issues, and it seems to be really asking you to take some sort of initiative to address things and to handle them accordingly, rather than trying to further drag them out and like continue trying to push through a dead end. Like you can't push through a dead end. A dead end is just a dead end. Like you have to find another way. You have to take on a different approach, do a different thing, go to a different person or whatever it might be. So yeah, that's really what this eclipse is really talking about. So yeah, that's what I have for you, Taurus. Let's move on to Gemini. All right, so Spirit, what does this lunar eclipse have in store for Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus? What truth is this? What truths is this lunar eclipse revealing? What does Gemini need to know about this lunar eclipse in Sagittarius? Oh shit. Okay. Jesus Christ, I got the Tower reversed. That's a card that flipped over. Bottom of the deck is the Two of Swords. All right. All right, so we have the 10 of Pentacles, we have the Tower, and we have Strength, okay? There's a lot going on here. So, Gemini. And then at the bottom of the deck is a Two of Swords. So Two of Swords essentially talks about a stalemate. It talks about being in denial about something. It talks about being blind to something or being unaware of something. So with this coming up, it seems that a lot of stuff, a lot of information is being brought to the surface for you. If you have been trying to turn a blind eye to this truth, if you have been trying to ignore this truth, to ignore this reality, now is no longer the time. You run out of time to ignore this information and to handle it accordingly, whatever it might be, right? You run out of time, especially because I have the Tower reversed here. It seems like you have been running away from this thing for a while. You have been running away from the dismantling of this thing, from the crumbling of this thing, whatever it might be. Trying to avoid it, trying to ignore it, trying to postpone it, trying to delay it, but like, it was inevitable. Like, it was gonna happen one way or another. So that's kind of what it seems like. Something seems to be tumbling down, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. If anything, it's probably really good, and it might feel really painful and uncomfortable, but it's likely that you will gain a lot of information and a lot of really great knowledge and experience from it. So we have the 10 of Pentacles, which talks about like a strong foundation, something that has been built from the bottom up. But with the Tower reverse, this is telling me that something foundational, it needs to crumble, and you might be having a hard time accepting that because maybe you think, no, like there's no way that this could be unstable for me. There's no way that this could be unsturdy. There's no way that this is outdated or whatever the case is, but it seems like it is. It really does. It seems like it is, and it seems that this lunar eclipse is kind of a test of your strength, of your inner strength, and a test of your boundaries, a test of how you handle and manage this Tower moment. Essentially, it's a test of how you manage upheaval. It's a test of how you manage change and a crumbling of a reality for something new. And we have Judgment reverse. So I have the Two of Swords, the Chariot, and Judgment reverse. This is something that you may have been ignoring, or like history may have been really repeating itself here. Judgment reverse, history has been repeating itself, or you haven't been making the necessary changes in regards to whatever stable thing this is, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a job. Like, you haven't been making the necessary adjustments or changes. And so it seems like now, like, all of it has to come down for you to really realize what changes need to be made. You know, it's kind of like, because you've been ignoring it for so long, the universe is trying to get your attention. And the only way at this point is to get your attention is to knock everything down and get you to rebuild it and to rebuild something greater and something better. And yeah, Two of Swords, like trying, like being in denial of it, and then Chariot, like having a choice to make and being very decisive, needing to be decisive. This lunar eclipse is going to show you like that you have to be decisive, and you can't just be on the edge of a fence. Is that the right terminology? Is that the right phrase? On the edge of a fence? Whatever, you know what I'm saying. Like, you have to choose something. Like, that's kind of what it seems like. And yeah, it might be really challenging, but I feel like it's going to really be a benefit to your endurance. And it's really going to be testing your endurance and pushing you past a level you didn't think you could go beyond, if that kind of makes sense. Like, it's testing your limits, but in a good way, if that kind of makes sense. That's really what it feels like. It's testing your limits, it's testing your boundaries, and it really feels like now is a time to face whatever truth this is in regards to something in your life that has been deeply rooted, something that has been built, something that is very like foundational, something very like sturdy. Whatever this is, something that has been like long lasting, something that's been in your life for a while, but it hasn't been like it served its purpose and it feels outdated. Excuse me. And Judgment reverses, like history has been repeating itself over and over again, and you really haven't been learning your lesson. So now it's kind of like this dramatic finale, and you have to make a choice, and you have to be steadfast in that choice, and you have to continue moving forward and being incredibly focused to help yourself rebuild and to help yourself see what needs to be adjusted. Does that kind of make sense, darling? So that's really what I have for you, Gemini. I hope that resonates. Hope it helps. All right, Cancer, let's see what's going on for you this lunar eclipse. So Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. What does this lunar eclipse want to tell you? What truths are being revealed to Cancers during this lunar eclipse? What's being brought to their attention? Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus, lunar eclipse. Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus, lunar eclipse. Alrighty. Okay, Queen of Wands reversed, the Magician reversed are both what fell out. Page of Swords. Bottom of the deck is the Ten of Cups. So Ten of Cups talks about emotional harmony, emotional satisfaction, emotional fulfillment. That's so cute. Wait, hold on. I need to look in the light. Oh, it's like two people and they're like swinging around. That's adorable. And they're like up on a little pedestal. Okay, that's adorable. That's so cute. I don't know if you can like really. Anyways. Okay. Three of Pentacles. I like that. Okay. So, Cancer, this lunar eclipse is teaching you a lot about your emotional fulfillment and reaching a point in your life where you are emotionally fulfilled with yourself and you are emotionally fulfilled with where you are at in life, even though it might not be the ideal place in your life, if that kind of makes sense. So, and also just being emotionally, just like I said, emotionally satisfied with yourself. So we have the Queen of Wands reversed, which to me reads as someone who they have not quite tapped into their confidence. They haven't quite tapped into like their fierce, like lioness sort of energy. This is someone who's, to me, this is someone who is very timid, who doesn't really believe in themselves, who's kind of insecure and kind of allows their insecurities to dictate them. And with the Magician reverse, this kind of reads as someone who doesn't really believe in themselves. They don't believe in their skills. They don't believe in like their capability and in their competence, in their skills, and their abilities to do things, and their abilities to manifest certain realities through their actions and through their words. And so it seems that for you, Cancer, this lunar eclipse has a lot to do with your confidence, with your self-esteem, and with believing in yourself, with being okay with being in the spotlight, with putting yourself in the spotlight, being the center of attention, and embracing that rather than running away from it. Which is kind of weird because like it might be uncomfortable for you because as a Cancer, like, you know, your shell, you like to protect yourself, self-preservation. I get it, Cancer stellium. But it feels like with this lunar eclipse, like now is a time to be stepping into your power. Now is a time to be tapping into your confidence, to be tapping into the greatness that is within you, and tapping into the light that is within you, and not allowing your own self-defeatist thoughts get in your way. And I really feel like some of you have a way with words, or like some of you have a lot of knowledge or have a lot of wisdom with something, but you're not sharing it. Like you're keeping it to yourself. And I feel like whatever it is that you have in your head, like you need to be spreading that. Like you need to be sharing this information, because the Page of Swords talks about communication and like knowledge and like seeking knowledge in some way. I just feel like for some of you, like some of you need to be like an oral speaker or like an orator, or like doing public speaking or something along those lines. Or maybe you have this maybe you have like an aspiration to become a writer, or to become a poet, or to become an orator, or to do like public speaking in some way. I don't know. And maybe your lack of confidence has stopped you from doing so. Maybe because you doubted that your words made sense, or because you doubted that your words were impacting enough, that they were sufficient enough. But like they are. I feel like they are. And you need to start believing in yourself the way that others may already be believing in you. I'm so sorry for like the bad lighting. It's super cloudy right now. God. But yes, that's what this is really talking to me about. And for others of you who just like aren't necessarily like connected to words or to like that sort of part of yourself, that's okay. This can just be talking about just speaking your mind and speaking your truth and taking the initiative to put yourself out there. That's kind of what this feels like. And I feel like with this Page of Swords as well, like some of you need to be affirming yourself. Like you need to be affirming positive things into your mind, because some of you might just be really self-deprecating and like really pessimistic, and girl, I know how that feels like. So yes, a lot of this has to do with tapping into this part of you that you doubt that you have. Some of you may really be questioning your capabilities, or questioning how good you are at something, or questioning if you're meant to do something. But if you have a passion for it, if you feel like this is something that you are meant to do, if you feel deep in your heart that this is what makes you happy, then go for it. Don't stop yourself from doing it just because you feel like you're not good at it. You learn with experience, you learn with time, you learn through practice. Don't stop yourself from not doing something just because you feel like it's not perfect, or because you're not perfect at doing it. Like no one is perfect at what they do. There's always going to be someone who is better than the other, but that shouldn't stop you from still pursuing that thing. Instill a greater sense of confidence within yourself, and it might take some time. It might be something that has to be built from the ground up, but that is completely okay. You need to allow yourself to let loose, and you need to allow yourself to just like be a human being. Don't take yourself so seriously. Not everything has to be this serious like business sort of thing. No, allow yourself to have fun. Put yourself out there, push your boundaries, push your comfort zone, push yourself out of your comfort zone, okay? Push your limits and see if you can see what you can do that you thought that you couldn't do before. Does that kind of make sense? So that's what this is kind of talking about, Cancer. So that's really exciting. That's what this lunar eclipse is bringing up for you. All right, Leo, sun, moon, rising, and Venus. Let's see what's going on for you this lunar eclipse. All right, Spirit, what's going on for Leo, sun, moon, rising, and Venus this lunar eclipse? What does this lunar eclipse want to share with Leo? What does it want to reveal to Leo, sun, moon, rising, and Venus? Alrighty, so we have the Hierophant, we have the King of Swords reversed, and Seven of Cups. Interesting. Bottom of the deck is the Two of Cups, and then under that is the Five of Cups. And then under that is the Four of Cups reversed, and then under that is the Page of Cups. So many cups. My gosh, so many emotions coming to the surface. Alrighty, so you could be dealing with a Taurus or a Capricorn. With that Hierophant card, so sorry. I needed my water. So right off the bat, the Hierophant and the King of Swords reversed. This to me feels like some sort of issue with moral superiority or having like certain moral standards for other people, and how people like having a certain standard as to how people should be conducting themselves, but then not holding yourself to that standard. So it seems kind of hypocritical, if that kind of makes sense. And with the Seven of Cups, this just feels like, this is weird. This feels like a God complex. Or just like, I can't do no wrong sort of thing. What is that? That's so weird. Maybe this is someone in your life who has this complex or like has this thing, but it just feels like I can do no wrong. Right? But then, and like they condemn other people for like not following the moral standard, or for not following their moral standard that is usually unrealistic, but they don't hold themselves to that moral standard to even begin with. Like, it's just some sort of hypocritical thing. That's what this feels like. And if that's the thing with you, then this is kind of saying to me to question this moral standard, where it comes from and why you believe these things, and evaluate whether you hold yourself to that standard. And if you're not, then why are you pushing it so hard on other people? Like, what exactly are you trying? What is your end goal here? What are you trying to accomplish? What is the outcome of all of this? By having this like moral superiority. Again, you could be dealing with someone else who is like this. And if that's the case, then this is kind of saying like to question why that is, to question why you may have allowed this person to get so close to you in your life. For others of you, it could be that some of you are feeling confused. Seven of Cups, some of you could be feeling confused about a commitment that you made with an air sign, or about a commitment that you made with someone who's like really emotionally unavailable. King of Swords, someone emotionally unavailable, someone really strict, someone again like who has like that strong moral code or like moral conduct. I don't know. Feeling confusion about who okay, no, so for some of you, it doesn't even have to be a person. For some of you, this King of Swords reverse can talk about like not thinking 10 steps ahead, not really having a plan. Yeah, that's what that is. Okay. That's what that is, bitch. All right, so King of Swords reverse and the Seven of Cups. So there's some sort of confusion for you, Leo, regarding your future goals and your future plans. Maybe you're having a hard time with like a 5-year plan, or like a 10-year plan, or even like a 1 month or 10 month, or not 10 month, 3 month, 5 month, 6 month plan, whether it's in regards to a job or to school, or just like in general, like a life plan. Maybe you're having a hard time envisioning your future. And with the Hierophant, this could be saying that you need to have a better idea as to where you're going or where you want to be and how you want to go about reaching that. And it doesn't mean like you have to get every single detail right, and it's okay if you don't follow that guideline, you know, by the word. But it feels like with this Hierophant, there might need to be a stronger sense of structure. It also feels like what you thought you were going to do in the future, Leo, is kind of shifting and kind of changing, because the Hierophant, like, it feels this is like a commitment, this is foundations, this is a plan, like you had something in mind. But then King of Swords reversed is almost like that it goes completely outside of the window. King of Swords and Seven of Cups, like that goes completely outside of the window, and now you have to come up with a plan B. That's kind of what that seems like. Why am I doing this? Why am I such a Gen Z person? That's kind of what that seems like for you, Leo. Like something about your future plans is kind of being dismantled, and there's like, I feel like you're being encouraged to take on a new approach or to explore your options, because what you thought was the way may not actually be the way to do things, if that kind of makes sense. I feel like there's a more harmonious option. There's something that might be a lot better for you. And it could also be that for some of you, like maybe some of you are actually like in a relationship, or maybe you have like this long-standing friendship with someone, and maybe you were like, or it doesn't even have to be like a serious relationship, it doesn't even have to be romantic, maybe it was like a business partnership or something. Maybe you had plans with this person, or maybe there was like a contract between you two or something, like there was some sort of long-standing commitment with this person that you had. Right? And like Two of Cups, that would be the partnership. But then with the Five of Cups, it's like it ends up being disappointing for some reason. Like something doesn't turn out quite the way you wanted it to, and it ends up kind of feeling disappointing, or like feeling disillusioning. And so with the Four of Cups, like there has to be a change in approach. A change in approach, and a change in the way in which things are conducted, or the way in which things are done. And with the Page of Cups, this is like new ideas, creativity, doing like thinking outside of the box. So yeah, Leo, I don't know. That was interesting. So it could be, again, like the idea that you had of like your future plans might not exactly be the way that they need to be, or you know, like your future plans might kind of be shifted or shaken up a little bit, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It might lead to some sort of confusion, but it ultimately seems like it's something that might be really necessary, and it might provide a perspective that you didn't see in the past. I keep on wanting to say future, but yeah, that's kind of what it looks like for you, Leo. So yes, what's happening for Virgo Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus during this lunar eclipse? What do they need to know about this lunar eclipse? What truths are being revealed to them this lunar eclipse? What information do they need to know? Ooh, Sun reversed popped out. Jesus Christ, yo. All right, we have the Sun reversed. We have the Hermit, and we have Temperance. Bottom of the deck is the Nine of Cups reversed. Girl. Nine of Cups reversed. Bottom of the deck talks about a lack of emotional fulfillment, a lack of emotional satisfaction. Something that you thought would be emotionally satisfying isn't necessarily what you thought it would be. It doesn't live up to your expectations. Nine of Cups reversed is like, you expected things to be easy, but they're not. Or you expected to get instant gratification for something and you didn't, and now you're like, what the fuck is going on? That's what that kind of seems like. Also, Nine of Cups reversed just kind of talks about like a wish not being fulfilled. Like something wasn't fulfilled for you. Whatever desire that you had, for some reason, like it hasn't come into fruition, which is really interesting. So what I think is really interesting about this spread is that we have the Sun reversed and the Hermit. So Sun reversed talks about darkness and negativity. And we have the Hermit, which is literally like dark. It's also the Virgo card, so that's cool. And with the Temperance, this talks about moderation, needing to find moderation. For some of you, okay, so some of you you may have been lingering in the dark for way too long. Some of you may have really just been cooping yourself up in your room, not talking to anybody, not wanting to have anything to do with anybody, just like wanting to be on your own, wanting to be in hermit mode. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like, we all need our alone time, especially like if you need time to recharge, if you need time to just be on your own and like decompress and, you know, and so on and so forth, and kind of like deal with whatever it is that you're dealing with, that's fine. But it feels that with this sun reverse, like it's taking a toll on you, and it feels like whatever hermit mode you're going into, it almost feels self-destructive, and it feels a lot more negative rather than something that is like conducive to your growth, or rather than something that is like really revealing some sort of truth. It just feels like you're pushing everyone away, or somehow being really hard on yourself, or just being really pessimistic about something. And so I also feel like some of you could just be taking things too seriously, like taking yourself way too seriously when you need to just like loosen up. It kind of feels like with this Temperance card, this is kind of saying like there's a time and a place for everything. There's a time and a place for you to be serious and to introspect and to reflect and to ponder and contemplate and so on and so forth, and to be a truth seeker and whatever. But there's also a time and a place for you to be playful, to be fun, to be lighthearted, to be light, to be lighthearted, to have fun, to be joyful, to be jubileous, oh my God. Like there's a time and a place for that. And I feel like you need to find a sense of balance and moderation between those two, because it feels like there might be some sort of excess in one or the other, but knowing you, Virgo, it's more so probably towards the pessimism and like the darkness. Not to shade you or anything, but that's kind of what this feels like. It also just feels like some of you might just be a Debbie Downer. I just feel like some of you may be really critical of other people or even of yourself, and it's unwarranted. Like sun reverse, it just feels like you're being a Debbie Downer about shit and you don't even have a reason to be. Like you're just looking for a reason to be mad. You're looking for a reason to be upset. And so if that's the case, then the Hermit is kind of saying like, yo, chill the fuck out. Maybe you need some time to reflect on why you're acting this way and why you're saying these things and why you're being so harsh and why you're being such a Debbie Downer. Like, where is this coming from? What is this projection? Where is this projection coming from? Where does this stem from? Like maybe you need to go on timeout for a little bit. That's kind of what this feels like. Maybe you need to go on timeout. And with this Temperance card, it just feels like learning to balance out your emotions, needing to find some sort of like emotional equilibrium, because right now it just feels like things are kind of just kind of all over the place. And I feel like some of you might be bitter because a wish didn't really come true. So maybe you're taking that out on other people. But I also just feel like some of you just aren't really grateful. Like it just feels like a lack of gratitude in a way, or just kind of being like, oh, I don't have this, I don't have that, so I can't do this. Or just focusing on what you don't have, focusing on what you wish you had, focusing on what other people have and being like, oh, I wish I had that. But that only gets you so far, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. And if you wish that you had something that someone else has, if it's something that you can get, if it's something that is attainable for you, then go for it. You know, rather than like sitting back and complaining. And this isn't to say that like if the thing genuinely isn't attainable for you, or if the thing is just genuinely not something that is meant to be on your path, like that's one thing. But if you haven't even necessarily taken the initiative, if you've just been sitting back and like, oh, like I wish I had that, but like haven't really been taking the initiative, then like do so. Take the initiative to have that thing. Whatever it is. Or maybe you're saying like, oh, I wish I was more outgoing, but then not really doing anything to change habits in the way in which you approach people, or changing habits in the way in which you approach life in general to make yourself more outgoing. Like you can you can push yourself to be more outgoing. Might it be more difficult and challenging and uncomfortable because it's not necessarily innately something that you do? Sure, but it's still something that you can learn to do. It's something that you get better at with practice. But just sitting back and complaining about it isn't going to get you that thing. Does that kind of make sense? So that's kind of what's coming up for you, Virgo. Yeah, girl, I don't know what else to tell you. But also, like, if you're just coming from a place of like a lack of gratitude and a lack of appreciation for what you already have, and kind of just like wishing for things that are fleeting, or wishing for things that are out of your reach, I guess you could say, find ways to be grateful. Find ways to cherish what you already have. Focus on what you already have rather than what you don't have. Because if you focus so much on what you don't have, you create further separation within yourself, and that's not what you really want, you know? So be grateful for what you have. Find that feeling of gratitude and cherish what you already have. Even if you initially feel like it's not much, there might be someone else who wishes there's someone out there who wishes they could have what you have, and you might not even know that. So that's just a perspective to offer. So yeah, that's what I have for you, Virgo or Libra. Let's see what this lunar eclipse wants to share with you. This may apply to Libra Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. So let's see what's going on for you. Libra Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus for this lunar eclipse in Sagittarius. Oh, that was way too many cards. Libra Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus for this lunar eclipse in Sagittarius. Libra Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Okay, there we go. Got one. All right, so we have the 9 of Swords. Oof. Okay, lots of anxiety, stress, grief. Maybe you're having a lot of nightmares, or maybe you feel like you're living a nightmare. Okay, 9 of Swords, the 8 of Cups, Queen of Wands. Bottom of the deck is Strength reversed. Okay. Libra. Oh, this is like hurting me. Okay, so Libra, it seems that you might have been stuck in a kind of like bad, I don't want to say bad. You've been stuck in a cycle that has been really stress inducing and really anxiety inducing, it seems like. And it just feels like whatever it is that you're going through, I just keep on thinking of the word nightmare. And like, this feels like a nightmare. What I'm going through feels like a nightmare. And whether it's a relationship, whether it's a career thing, it just feels like it's causing a lot more harm than good. And there might be an issue with boundaries. Strength reversed at the bottom of the deck. There might be an issue with boundaries. It could be that you may have failed to implement healthy boundaries with someone or with a job. Or maybe maybe you may not have been strict enough with your boundaries, and maybe someone may have kept overstepping. And it leads to just like this anxiety and this feeling of stress and just like, I don't know what to do, almost like feeling paralyzed and just like feeling like the imagery of this 9 of Swords, Jesus Christ, like I just feel a lot of fear from this. And I feel that you may have felt really disempowered within this situation, within the job or the relationship or the situation, the circumstance. And I feel like with this lunar eclipse, it is really a time for you to empower yourself, right? Queen of Wands. It's a time for you to empower yourself, to speak your truth, to show your light, and to be like so proud of yourself, and to no longer allow other people or other situations dim your light or make you feel less than or make you feel inferior in some way. And with this 8 of Cups, it really feels like it's a time, this lunar eclipse is really encouraging you to walk away from whatever this nightmare is, even if it's really scary to do so, and even if it's incredibly uncomfortable to do so, and it might even be a bit of a wild ride in regards to walking away from this situation and walking away from that, but it really feels like you're being pushed to move forward in a direction of empowerment and believing in yourself and believing like in your worth and advocating for yourself and being the strong, confident, empowered person that no one can tear down. And it feels like there's a need for you to build stronger boundaries, not just with others, but with yourself, and in treating yourself better, treating yourself with more compassion, treating yourself with more love and kindness and patience. And there's a lot of movements here because we also have the 8 of Wands. So it's a lot of forward paced movement, a lot of like progress. A lot of progress needs to be made or is going to be made or is required to be made from and during this lunar eclipse in Sag. And it's for your own good. Because whatever this Nine of Swords is, like, I don't like this card. Like, I don't like the imagery of this. I don't like the feeling that it's giving me. But it feels like you are coming out from the darkness as a light. It just feels kind of like a phoenix moment. And it feels like you're shedding your skin from this small sort of, like from this small being who doesn't really believe in themselves and someone who honestly is almost like kind of spineless in a way. I feel like you're building a spine. And I don't mean to say that as like an insult or to like be mean, but it just feels like you're building a backbone because you've been needing to build a backbone. And it feels like something might happen that is just like the final, like it's just the cherry on top. And I feel like you're going to be blowing up and you're going to be like setting fire to everything that has been happening, and I just feel like you are no longer going to allow this person or this situation or whatever to treat you the way that they have been treating you, or to like I just feel like you're no longer allowing these things to slide by. I feel like you're finally speaking up for yourself, which it's just really beautiful. And I feel that you're going to be doing this so shamelessly and just speaking up for yourself no matter what others say, like no longer caring about what other people say and just saying like, fuck it, like I have to do this for myself sort of thing. So that's kind of what that seems like. That's a lot of heavy energy, but it's really beautiful for you, Libra. And I look forward to seeing your growth and your progress. Okay, Scorpio, let's see what's going on for you this lunar eclipse. Jesus Christ, a card already fell out, and it's your card, yo. That's crazy. Your card fell out. We have the Death card already. Jesus Christ. Massive transformation and upheaval. Lots of changes, having your death rebirth moment. Page of Swords reversed, and the Knight of Cups reversed. Oh, Jesus Christ. And then bottom of the deck is the Two of Cups. Okay. So Scorpio, this lunar eclipse has a lot to do with you maturing and bettering yourself and learning how to bite your tongue, learning how to be honest without being cruel, learning how to become a lot more emotionally mature, not taking everything as an emotional attack, not taking everything so personally, learning how to be a mature human being. Okay? Death is like the massive change. Death is the transformation. It is the death rebirth moment. Okay? So massive changes are coming for you. And it's in regards to the communication and your emotions. So Page of Swords reverse, learning how to bite your tongue, learning how to be honest without being cruel. Learning how to be honest, period. And learning how to tell full truths instead of half truths. Page of Swords reverse can sometimes be like really manipulative in the way in which they communicate, and like saying things to benefit them, or like selling certain narratives that benefit only them, and to kind of get people on their side and to alienate others in the meantime, if that gonna make sense. Page of Swords reversed also talks about immature communication. So this, for some of you, this could just be in reference to like learning how to communicate effectively rather than being passive aggressive, or rather than using any sort of like manipulative tactic in order to get the person to feel bad, in order to guilt trip the other person, or what have you. Okay, it's learning to effectively communicate how you're feeling rather than like being passive aggressive, especially with the Knight of Cups reverse. Rather than being passive aggressive or holding it against them, or somehow taking it as the personal attack, or whatever the case is. Like, a lot of this has to do with being a mature human being, especially in your interpersonal relationships, with this Two of Cups at the bottom of the deck. I feel like a lot of this has to do with learning how to have healthier relationships and bettering the way in which you conduct yourself in your relationships. So if there's something on your mind, then you speak your mind, rather than expecting the other person to pick up on the clues that you're dropping. Okay, this also refers to seeing something that you think is there, reading between the lines, and like seeing something that you think is there when that might not even be the reality, right? Making things deeper than they should be, making things deeper than they actually are. Communicating your feelings, like I mentioned earlier. If there's something that's on your mind, say something rather than having the other person trying to figure it out all on their own. If you feel a type of way, then say it. Okay, be honest, but do it in a way that is mature, and do it in a way that is productive, rather than like passive aggressive, or whatever tactics you might be used to using in order to get your way, or in order to like guilt trip someone or make them feel bad or whatever. That's what this is really talking about. It really seems like a lot of major improvement in regards to relationships and how you conduct yourself within them. And yeah, learning how to better communicate yourself. Being emotionally mature, being able to have adult conversations with someone. Okay, Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. What's going on for you, this lunar eclipse? This is happening in your first house. Jesus Christ. House of the self. Ace of Swords. Okay, we have the Ace of Swords. We have the King of Swords reversed. Three of Wands. Bottom of the deck is the Queen of Swords. Okay. Wow, so many swords, dog. That's crazy. Queen of Swords. There's so much intellectual stuff going on right now. That's crazy. All right. So bottom of the deck is the Queen of Swords. What does this mean? Queen of Swords is very objective, and they get straight to the point. They cut to the chase. They don't like to sugarcoat anything. Queen of Swords is also very much a truth seeker. She values justice. She values truth. She likes to get to the bottom of things and solving things effectively, rather than kind of like trying to please everyone. She's very much a diplomat, but she also she values objective truth, okay, and values the objective balance and fairness of things. So there's that, which is really exciting. It seems that there is such strong planning for you here, and I feel like some of you are going to be having an epiphany this lunar eclipse. Okay, Ace of Swords, this reads as like an epiphany or some sort of idea, and it feels like this could be relating to your future, because I have the Three of Wands, which talks about future planning and like building towards something, like looking into the horizons and looking into your future, essentially. But with this King of Swords reverse, this can either talk about being really rigid about something, or thinking that things have to be done in a specific way, or like in a very rigid, structured way. Or it could be not really looking at things with an objective view, not really looking at things from a bird's eye view, like not really seeing the bigger picture of everything, if that kind of makes sense. The King of Swords reverse can also signify like not really thinking 10 steps ahead, kind of just like being a little bit scattered, being kind of like fumbling around a little bit, which is really interesting. So for you, Sagittarius, it seems that you might have an idea or some sort of epiphany or some sort of like some sort of burst of mental clarity. And I feel like you're going to be receiving a lot of answers to something. And I feel like it's going to provide you a lot of just a clearer perspective on how to approach something or how to do something. And I feel like you require to be very objective during this time. And it also feels like for some of you, this is a time of planning rather than being so quick to take initiative, if that kind of makes sense. Again, with the King of Swords reverse, this is like not really thinking 10 steps ahead, kind of doing things very step by step or like moment by moment. And not thinking of a better way to do this. Like the way that I think of it is like someone playing chess. And when you're playing chess, you have to think 10 steps ahead in order to win. You can't just be doing it move by move, because if you do it move by move, you might miss out on chances to win the game, or you might not see how someone might defeat you with the moves that they make, if that kind of makes sense. So this is like thinking 10 steps ahead, thinking of like different moves that you can make, thinking of a plan A, plan B, C, D, E, whatever. Thinking of different plans and strategies in regards to building a better future for yourself. 3 of Wands. This talks about expansion. This talks about spreading your wings and independence. Some of you could be moving, but it also feels like some of you you need to think of different plans and strategies in order to help yourself. And with regards to the situation and executing this idea or whatever thing this is, or like executing on like this epiphany that you have. If that kind of makes sense. Like thinking objectively and thinking very logically and step by step, following the instructions or kind of following some sort of guideline. And it doesn't even have to be a strict guideline, but like something, like there has to be some semblance of structure in order to build upon like this future. And being very focused and not allowing yourself to get super distracted but like that's also allow yourself to rest and to rejuvenate when you require, but also don't stray too far from your task at hand. Don't allow yourself to get super distracted or anything along those lines, you know, like do the work that you need in order to see the results that you want to see. So yeah, that's really exciting. I really feel like even if you like in the past, if you have been the type to just do things, to just like wing it and to just like do things move by move rather than like thinking 10 steps ahead. Right now, the Lunar Eclipse is telling you like right now is not the time to be doing this. You need to have a solid plan. You need to be planning for your future rather than kind of like impulsively doing things or just like playing it by ear. Now is not the time to be playing it by ear. So that's what I have for you, Sag. Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Card fill out. Okay, 4 of Wands reversed is what fell out. 4 of Wands reversed, we have the 7 of Wands. 10 of Cups reversed. Bottom of the deck is the 2 of Swords. 2 of Swords. All right, 4 of Wands reversed. I don't know if I already showed you the card. Alrighty. Okay, Capricorn. So for you, there is a broken foundation needs to be addressed. Okay, 4 of Wands reversed. A broken foundation needs to be addressed, whether this is a relationship, career thing, school thing, personal life, social life, whatever this is, something needs to be addressed. Something is like wobbly, it's unsturdy, it's unstable, and it needs to fall, or it needs to be fixed or amended in some sort of way. And this lunar eclipse is bringing a lot of attention to this broken foundation, whatever it might be. And this Seven of Wands talks about perseverance. This is saying you need to face things head on in the face of adversity. It feels like with whatever foundation this is, or whatever broken thing this is, it might feel like you're experiencing a lot of roadblocks and obstacles and like people in your way in opposition. It might feel like things just aren't working out right. And it could be that could be like a sign that this thing needs to come apart, like this things need to be fixed, or it needs to crumble in order to be rebuilt into something steady, into something a lot more stable. And it might feel like the world is against you, and it might feel like nothing is working out. But this is just kind of saying like you need to be taking on a new approach. You need to be doing things differently. Now is not the time to be ignoring this thing. This is a time to persevere. This is a time to face these obstacles head on, and you are able to get through this. You are more than able to get through these obstacles, to push through them, to overcome them. It might feel like an uphill battle, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're not going to win. It just might take a little bit of work to do so. And with the Ten of Cups reversed, again, like this just feels like a foundational thing. And it also feels like whatever it is that just hasn't been emotionally fulfilling, like needs to go, because you may have been given signs, or you may have just hit so many roadblocks in regards to this thing and just tried to get through them, but then like another roadblock appeared. And so that's kind of saying like, yo, something has to give, a change has to happen. And also with the Ten of Cups reversed, like this is saying like inauthenticity, fakeness, being like really fake, or putting up an image in order to make other people happy. So it feels like by trying to maintain this foundation, you're not even happy doing it. It almost feels like you're trying to maintain this foundation for other people and to impress them and to make them happy, but it doesn't even feel like you're emotionally fulfilled by doing so. And so if that's the thing, then like that's something that's worth addressing, and that's something worth changing and taking on a different approach and like doing things differently, so that you don't end up expending so much energy on something that you are not even emotionally invested in, if that kind of makes sense. It also kind of feels like there might be some sort of issue with family, and like feeling as though family or that loved ones no longer support you. It's almost like a feeling of like feeling as though they have turned on you. Like a shift in alliances, if that makes sense. That's so weird. It feels like a shift in alliances, and you might have known about it, or you might have known that like something was kind of fishy, or you may have known that something was kind of like suspicious, but you didn't really want to address it, or you didn't really think that they would actually turn on you, right? Because the Two of Swords is like denial and like not wanting to accept something. But then it feels like it kind of almost happens all at once, where it just feels like they're turning on you, which is really weird. So that might just be something that comes to light. And it might lead to a sense of like instability. And it feels like it feels like it's one against many. That's what it feels like fighting against an army when it's just you. Like you're a one-man army fighting against a whole battalion is kind of what it feels like. And we also have the Nine of Wands, right? So the Two of Swords, Page of Pentacles, reversed instability and like needing to start from the ground up. And then Nine of Cups reversed, emotional dissatisfaction. Like this isn't what I signed up for. This isn't what I wanted. So that's really interesting. Yeah, Three of Swords, disappointment, yo. Like this lunar eclipse is bringing up some shit. I really feel like this eclipse is gonna be showing you who is with you and who is against you. And it feels like some people who you thought were ride or die for you probably aren't. It just feels like someone is turning on you. I don't know what this is. Eight of Wands reversed, a lack of progress, like needing to redirect energy, like a sudden halt in something. World reversed, unfinished business or history repeating itself. Unfinished business. So this may be something that you might not have dealt with in the past, but it also just feels like a lack of closure. If it's a lack of closure, it could be that some of you could be gaining closure as to why someone turned against you, or why someone just chose to like no longer advocate for you. So yeah, I don't know what else to tell you, Capricorn. All right, Aquarius, let's see what this lunar eclipse has for you. Jesus Christ, that was quick. Okay. All right, what does this lunar eclipse want to share to Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus? What does this lunar eclipse want to share with? Alrighty, we have the Five of Pentacles reversed that fell out. We have Death reversed, and we have the Magician reversed. Jesus Christ. And then under that, we have at the bottom of the deck, we have Five of Wands. Yo, Aquarius, it honestly feels like you have been feeling so sorry for yourself. It feels like you've been wallowing in your own misery and just like being such a Debbie Downer, being just so hard on yourself and just like believing that there's nothing that you can do to change your circumstances or to get somewhere, to get to a point, bro, to get to a place that you want to be, to achieve a certain goal in your life. It just feels like you have almost like given up on yourself, which is like mad weird, yo. Like, why are you? Because, right, I have Magician reverse, so it's like you don't really believe in yourself. You're not believing in your capabilities. You are like minimizing them, or like there's just a lot of energy that you haven't really quite tapped into yet, or that you just don't believe. Like you don't believe in yourself. You don't believe in your abilities and your capabilities and your competence, which is weird. And with the Death card reverse, it feels like you've been stuck. It feels like you may have been resisting some sort of change in your life and kind of saying like, no, I'm not ready for that. I can't do that. But you're holding yourself back from a lot of growth is what it feels like. And it feels that there might be people in your life or organizations or communities or things in general that might really be pushing you to kind of look up and see the blessings that are coming your way. But it just feels like you're so focused on wallowing in your own misery. It feels like you're so focused on alienating yourself and being this misunderstood soul that you're not seeing what's right in front of you. Like you're not seeing all of these opportunities, all of these blessings, all of these things that you can do to up your game and to progress and to get yourself out there. It just feels like you're more so focused on feeling bad for yourself, honestly. And with the Five of Pentacles reversed, like this is saying like things are going to get better, you know? Things might have been feeling really desolate recently, but that is going to go away. It's not permanent. It's very temporary. But it feels that by focusing so much on what you don't have, or by focusing so much on what you're not, I guess you could say, you delay like the progress. There's just some sort of resistance to change. Death reverse, like there's something that you're resisting. It's almost like it's easier for you to feel bad for yourself and to like wallow in self-pity rather than like to take initiative and to change something about this, than to change your perspective and to change your approach. Like people do want to help you. There is a helping hand, but you have to look up at them. And for some of you, you might need to reach out. Like closed mouths don't get fed. Like some of you might actually have to take the initiative to reach out for help if that's exactly what you need, rather than just sitting back and not doing anything. And it feels like you might be dealing with some sort of like internal conflict with this Five of Wands. Like there's just some sort of conflict that needs to be solved within yourself. There's some sort of tension that just needs to be addressed, rather than just like sitting back and like being paralyzed and just like metaphorically paralyzed and like this self-pity sort of stuff. So yeah, that's what I have for you, Aquarius. Next we have Pisces. This may apply to your Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. So what's going on for Pisces this lunar eclipse? What does Pisces need to know about this lunar? Oh, yo, that shit is on my shirt. Oh my god, it's literally hanging on my shirt. I'm not doing anything. That's so funny. So we have the Wheel of Fortune reversed. We have the World reversed. Damn. And then we have the Lovers. Bottom of the deck is the High Priestess reversed. And then under that is the Six of Pentacles reversed. Okay, High Priestess reversed at the bottom of the deck. This talks about trying to use logic in a situation that requires your intuition. Needing to intuitively navigate a situation rather than trying to look at things in a very black or white perspective, or in a way that is very like objective and like very almost like lawful, I guess you could say. You need to listen to your inner voice and to your intuition, listen to your spirit guides, connect with your spirituality, and ground yourself and connect more with like the other side rather than trying to be like logical or super grounded in the physical world, I guess you could say. That kind of like has to change, because what it seems like right now with the Wheel of Fortune reversed and the Wheel and the World reversed, there's some sort of cycle that keeps on repeating itself. Something keeps on repeating itself. History keeps on being repeated. There's a lack of closure with something. There's just something going on that needs to come to an end. And it could be in relation to a relationship of yours, because we do have the Lovers here. Maybe it's in relation to someone in your life, or to a job, or even to like a Gemini. But this also kind of feels like you have a choice to make. I also feel like some of you might not have been listening to your intuition. Some of you might have known that something is outdated or something that isn't serving you, but you just ignored that feeling because it's almost like you wanted to stay in the situation for whatever reason it might be. Maybe because you were genuinely like in love with this person, or because you thought that it could work out, or maybe that you thought that your intuition was wrong, or whatever. Like you just didn't want to believe your intuition. But it feels that the more this happens, the more it becomes unignorable that something is going on and something has to give. And with this Lovers card, this is saying that you have a choice to make, and there's a very clear right or wrong choice, and you can continue making the wrong choice and, you know, repeat the cycle over and over again in hopes for a different outcome, even though you will likely not get the different outcome. Or you can do what you intuitively know is best for you and end this cycle, whatever this is. Whatever, like history repeating itself, like like you have the choice. The option is in your hands, the power is in your hands. You just have to do it and listen to your intuition rather than kind of hope that it'll go away or that things will get better on their own. If you know deep in your heart that something isn't meant to work out and that it just hasn't been working out, then listen to that feeling of yours. Listen to that gut feeling. You only hurt yourself by staying in a situation that you know isn't fulfilling to you. It's like, it's not worth it. It really doesn't seem worth it. And it seems as though there's some sort of issue with like reciprocation, or there might be an issue with someone taking more, or someone bending their back backwards for the other person, but the other person isn't doing the same for them. So if that's the case, that has to be addressed. And you might intuitively know that there's something wrong with this, but there's some sort of passivity here and just kind of accepting it. And it's leading to like a lack of boundaries, and then just further disrespecting you and thinking that it's okay to not reciprocate the energy that you're giving back. So whatever this is a cycle that has to end, and this lunar eclipse is definitely bringing attention to that. So yeah, Pisces, I don't know what else to tell you. So yeah, that's basically it. I did all 12 signs. I hope that this resonates for everyone. I hope that you were able to get something out of it. And with that being said, I will talk to you later. Please stay safe. Please drink lots of water. Please nourish yourself. Please take care of yourself. Please just make sure that in the midst of all of this upheaval that you are okay, and that you are checking in with yourself and managing and making sure that all of your needs are met. So that being said, I will talk to you later. I love you.